Hey there guys, PC Guy here with the news in tech and gaming for the week, and we do have quite a lot of little news pieces that we want to mention, and I'm kind of dividing them first of all into the parts that are actual facts and news and leaving the leaks and unconfirmed information for later, not to mix them all together like I have done so far. For starters, we have a piece about Nvidia's conference GTC that was planned and kind of got scrapped. It was supposed to be an actual live event and it was then changed to a live stream, which was then again cancelled in favor of the news just being published as news pieces on Nvidia's website with videos and live streams later on. Now this is due to the health issues that you might imagine, which I will not mention here for YouTube platform reasons. The so-called human malware, as Gamers Nexus has been mentioning it, and I am not quite sure exactly how that is a problem with a live stream, but apparently it was. As for what can you exactly expect from this conference, not much if you are looking at gaming products. We probably will be seeing products aimed at data centers, new graphics cards from the, for example, Quadro lineup and that sort of thing, but don't expect the next RTX 3080 or 3080 Ti to be launched or announced. Perhaps a little sneak peek. We can possibly infer some ideas about the performance by comparing the new cards that will be coming into the data centers with the previous generation, but that's pretty much all, and I don't think we'll be able to see a lot on the gaming side there. A bit more related to the gaming side of things, specifically VR gaming, is a tweet that Nvidia put out briefly and then almost immediately deleted, but not before some people actually managed to take a screen cap of it. The tweet featured the image that you can see here, and that does not say a whole lot. There was no text explaining what it was, except that something would be announced on March the 19th. And while there is no actual explanation what it means, a lot of people are expecting it to do with VR gaming, most specifically with a technology of eye tracking that should be used with variable height shading to kind of improve the VR experience by focusing the game and rendering it better in places where your eyes are actually focused, so you'll be able to perceive more detail without actually noticing that the game is not rendered as much in other areas. On less bright news concerning the future, research has found that AMD processors going back as far as 2011, so this includes the current Zen generation, might have flaws in them that are kind of similar to the flaws that Intel has had, although in another way and a bit less serious, one might add. Regarding the speculative execution on their CPUs. The flaws have collectively been named takeaway because, well, like the paper mentions, every security issue needs its own snappy name, and it exploits kind of the same processes or the same type of processes that occur on your CPU. Now, they do also offer solutions in the research paper, so it seems like it might be fixable both through future hardware mitigations and software mitigations for the current papers in CPUs in question. However, we can expect some performance loss when fixing these issues. If you might recall back when Intel fixed a few of its own issues in its CPUs several months ago now, the hit was pretty severe, like up to 15% in some cases, I believe, of performance lost. However, AMD has suffered a lot less issues, and we can only hope that the hit will be a bit more mild when it comes to fixing this. The issues also don't seem to be as widespread as Intel's, and they seem to be just a less amount of vulnerabilities as well. So yeah, future will tell if there are more exploits to be found on AMD's processors and if it ever gets as bad as Intel, which, let's be clear, even with this now found on AMD, they are still way behind in terms of the list of possible vulnerabilities. For anyone who owns MSI products and is having issues and was just out of warranty, well, some good news. MSI has extended their product warranties by 2 months due to the whole human malware situation, we might add. And, well, they didn't have to do this, no one's forcing them, so it's a way to get some goodwill among people, I suppose, and some positive publicity. In any case, it does not affect all their products. There are some restrictions to it. For once, you can count on it only applying to all-in-one or AIO desktops, so pre-built desktops from MSI branding. desktops, motherboards, monitors, PC cases or cabinets, and well, not a whole lot of other stuff. It is also limited to some countries. So in this case, you have here a whole list of the countries that are supported, and you do need to be part of the MSI rewards program, which is not a huge deal. There's no specific requirements. You just need to actually sign up for it, which you can easily do if you're having trouble. In any case, if you are an owner of an MSI product and that is part of this list and live in these countries and it is malfunctioning, the warranty has just ran out, then it's worth looking into this. GeForce Now has seen an exodus of games between the bigger names like Blizzard, Activision and others just withdrawing their games from GeForce Now due to misunderstandings about what GeForce Now actually is, if it is a platform where the games are sold or if it is basically a service, hardware rental service, let's call it. In any case, it is nice that between all those companies withdrawing their games from GeForce Now, kind of weakening their library, a few companies that are now expressing their support of the whole concept. In this case, Epic Games founder is expressing its wholeheartedly support for GeForce Now, and basically this will kind of ensure that Epic Store will be providing the games through the platform and not recalling them out of nowhere, out of the blue like that. Epic Game Store is not the only one to express its support. Ubisoft is also expressing support to the service, while in opposition of, for example, 2K Gaming, Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, and others, which have withdrawn all their titles from the platform. It seems to be quite a divisive topic for game publishers, and I don't really see why from a logical standpoint. I see why from an economic standpoint. They want a piece of the pie, basically. GeForce Now is charging a fee for the premium, which, let's face it, is not very expensive to begin with. It is at $4.99 a month, I believe, in most countries, and obviously they also have their own costs in terms of maintenance for their servers and their data centers where the GeForce Now is actually being run on virtual machines. So I can expect that Nvidia is making an enormous profit on this, but in any case, these game developers obviously want their share. You could argue, and that is something that I agree with, that GeForce Now is not a platform. It's not a platform like Steam or Epic Game Store or such, where you purchase the game and you own it on that platform. It's not even like Stadia, where you have to buy the game on Stadia. It is simply allowing you to play the game on their machine, but you have to have already purchase the game on whatever other platform it is. So basically it looks to me like developers are trying to double dip, so they get paid for the game when you buy it on, say, Steam, Battle.net or whatever, and then they want to get paid again because by Nvidia for you playing them through GeForce Now. So they're basically trying to double dip on you. If Nvidia would cave on this, they would surely pass the cost onto the consumer, so you would have to also pay more for GeForce Now. And that honestly does not seem to me like it's a fair thing. You've already purchased the game, you're free to play whatever you wanted. When you buy the game, even if you're logged into GeForce Now on Steam, if you buy the game there, Nvidia gets nothing out of it. So why would Nvidia be allowing developers to take a cut? Plus, it is allowing people that normally might not buy the game at all because they don't have sufficient hardware to play the game to actually buy the game when they otherwise would not. So you'd think that game publishers would also see it like that, as kind of expanding their possibilities in how much customers they can reach, but that does not seem to be the case. And yeah, in the end, I see GeForce Now as pretty much a hardware renting service. You're basically renting a PC from Nvidia to play the games that you're playing, and that's kind of the end of the story. But we'll see how this develops. I don't see it as a service that I would use in the future unless it improves a lot. And even then, as someone who likes tech, I would rather have the tech with me than in some unknown server, God knows where. But yeah, that's not the point. It is a good service with a lot of positive points, and at this point in time, it is the best option in the market for this type of thing. So I do hope that it does experience some success, both for itself and for the market in the future. Right after Cyberpunk releases, they will be beginning the development in a new game in the Witcher series. They have not really specified if it will be a prequel, sequel, or whatever, just that it is set in that universe and that they will begin development as soon as Cyberpunk comes out, which will be later in the year. Probably won't be a story focused on Geralt anymore. They have been very clear that Witcher 3 was the end of that storyline, and we probably won't be playing as him. Depending on how the game unfolds, you might run into him or something, but that's not going to be the focus of the game. So in any case, we'll be having to wait and see. This is officially confirmed by Projekt Red that it's happening, so it's not some sort of rumor. And yeah, it's probably still going to be several years out, considering it has not even begun development yet. And as the last piece of actual news before we head off to the rumor land, E3 has actually been confirmed. I had mentioned last week even that it was still on track to actually happen, and now, well, for reasons that you can imagine, it has been cancelled, and a lot of companies are going to be doing their planned announcements online, so keep your eyes peeled for that, but the conference itself is not going to happen anymore. Now let's start with our questionable and unconfirmed rumors and leaks. I'm going to try to keep it short on this. Intel is set to launch 10th generation core processors between April and June, according to a leak. We're already kind of expecting it. It's been the date and time frame that most people have been hearing about, and this leak, well, basically just confirms that and gives us a few names on the product stack to look out for, like up to 10 cores, up to 125 watts CDP, K and KF SKUs, and it covers the 900K, well, 10 900K, 10 900KF, 10 700K NKF, 600K NKF, and 400 and 400F. No further news on pricing or any other details. It's just basically a list of the things and when they are expected to actually launch. But yeah, we kind of already had figured that. As for the product introduction date, it states April 13 to June 26, which falls on the time frame it was expected, so yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this. Another Intel news for the 12th generation, so that's still a few years off, but some interesting leaks are popping up on Chinese PC shopping forums that they could be featuring up to 16 cores in the different approach to the monolithic approach that they have now. So it's not quite the chiplet approach that AMD is using, but it's something similar that ARM has been using on its little CPUs. And it is the concept of big and small cores, or big and little cores. Kind of imagine that you have cores that are capable of higher performance, and you have small cores that are capable of more limited performance. So the system would basically be dumping some of the less important processes or less demanding processes on those little cores because they don't need that much anyway, and it would be saving up the good cores, let's say, for more demanding processes that actually require the hardware power. So it would be basically in, well, kind of the process that you see here, 8 big cores, 8 little cores, and then an iGPU core with it, or 6 big cores, no little cores, and then the iGPU, depending on the product, of course. And yeah, as you could expect from something like this, if it actually becomes true, it will require, once again, a new socket. Projekt also reports a leak from the Ryzen 4000 series prices and release dates. They apparently have obtained it by a Canadian retailer that posted it accidentally on their website when they shouldn't have. And it kind of lists a few different ASUS TUF and ROG models, so kind of TUF usually is a bit more of an entry medium level thing, and ROG tends to be the higher level, more premium and expensive stuff. And the pricing, as you can see, it's here, both in Canadian dollars and US dollars. It ranges from $656 for the laptop containing the Ryzen 5 4600H, all the way to $1,822 for the Ryzen 9 4900HS laptop. So quite a range of prices in between for those interested in the in-between steps. And again, this is a leak and it's completely unconfirmed. Contain anything from a 1650 to a 2060 RTX, Nvidia cards as graphic solutions, and the release date seems to be set for March 16, which, well, we'll be seeing pretty soon if it actually pans out or not. In the gaming side of things, apparently some leaker that supposedly works close to Bethesda Studios has revealed a possible release date and a few details around the main quest of the Elder Scrolls 6 game, which we have all been waiting for years, and if this is actually true, which we do not know, we might have to wait a few more years still. Some of the details that he revealed is that the game takes place in High Rock and Hammerfell, and that the main points of the storyline are going to be around the Direni Tower and the Thalmor. So it's pretty much most of what he says, along with a few other small details. He mentions that the Vampire Guild will be returning and such, beefed up magic system and a revamped questing system, which, well, is to be expected given that it's a game that's coming out so many years after the last installment. And he asks us to expect a November 2025 release date, so it's still going to be a long 5 years. I left this one for last because there's just been so many RTX 3000 series leaks that you just don't know what to believe. And this current rumor is, well, it kind of is about a bunch of specs, but the core of the rumor is that it's not going to be on 7nm after all, and that it will most likely be on the Samsung 10nm node, that it might only be up to 40% over the 2080 Ti, and that's if it uses the full die of TU102, or well, GA102 is the future one. If it uses the full die, it might be 40% better than the TU102 that we are seeing from the current generation. And it probably won't, because the full die is probably going to be reserved for the Titan RTX, so it might be even less than that. Again, we are in leak land right now with all the rumors and such, so this is pure speculation. The Kitty Corgi is not validated the Nvidia spokesperson or anything. This is just a leak. So once again, I don't want to linger too much on this, because yeah, this doesn't really tell us anything new, and next week you might have another leak claiming that it's going to be 100% increase. So this has been it in tech and gaming news for the week. I hope you guys have enjoyed the division that I tried to make between actual facts and confirmed news, and the leaks and unconfirmed stuff that, let's face it, not everyone is interested in speculation and the rumor mill. So I try to do that division, and I'll try to do it a bit from now on as well, hopefully. So hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a like and a comment. That's what gives our video a bit more visibility, and it would really be appreciated if you guys could check the other videos in the channel, and especially subscribe, because that's what we need the most to grow and to do better and more content in the future. So I hope I'll see you guys in the next video. In the meantime, have fun.